Amritlal Begar studied fine arts at Santiniketan. To fully capture the Narmada's beauty and splendor, he embarked on the parikrama, not at a stretch, but in several short journeys. He has written 2 books in Gujarati on his pilgrimage, which have been translated into Hindi, Bengali, and Marathi. He is a recipient of the prestigious Sahitya Academy Award in Gujarati and the Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan Award in Hindi. Marietta Maddrell left England in 1982 after traveling widely in Asia and teaching English in Lhasa and Hong Kong. She made India her home for nearly 12 years. Here, she renamed herself Meera. She met Amritlal Begar on her own parikrama of the Narmada. At present, she lives in England. Narmada, you are beautiful, most beautiful. Give me a little of your beauty so that I may share it with others. The Narmada runs through the heart of India, rich in history and mythology. She is India's 5th longest and most sacred river after the Ganga. Narmada means one who gives joy. This turbulent river begins a journey from Amarkantak in Madhya Pradesh, flows westward for 1,312 kilometers through mostly rural landscape, and empties into the Gulf of Khambat near Bharuch in Gujarat. From source to estuary, the Narmada offers numerous fine vistas, some of them sheer poetry. For almost her entire length, she is escorted by the Vindhya and Satpura mountain range. Difficult to navigate, she is the cleanest of all the major rivers of India. At the starting point, a modest trickle, the river ends with a 20-kilometer wide bed. The Narmada, legend relates, never married. Therefore, to many, this virgin river is even more sacred than the Ganga. As a sign of respect, pilgrims perform parikrama of the entire river, walking barefoot and begging. The prescribed period for this river pilgrimage is 3 years, 3 months and 13 days. The Narmada is the river of beauty, meandering through mountains and valleys. She twists and turns her way amidst forest fringes, sculpting boulders, carving deep gorges, and creating scenes of unsurpassed beauty and loveliness. The Narmada has fascinated me ever since the days of my childhood. I have visited remote country places to see the varied aspects of this majestic river. I gazed upon her, charmed by her elegance, yet never satiated. Whenever I saw pilgrims passing by, a voice echoed in my heart. Why not go along with them, sketchbook in hand? But the time was not right. Till one day, my colleague Mr. Pandey agreed to travel with me on foot along the Narmada, from Jabalpur to Mandla. We began looking for a third companion. Everyone we asked just laughed. Write your will before you go, one advised. You must take a donkey with you. It will carry your luggage and you can ride it as well. Our colleagues were unwilling, but 2 of our students, Yadavendra and Suryakant, were eager and enthusiastic. It was decided that we would set out early the day after Dasera. The journey would begin from Gwari Ghat near Jabalpur, where we live. On the morning of 22nd October 1977, the 4 of us packed our belongings and set off from Gwari Ghat, praising the Narmada. We reached Chhatarpur village in the afternoon. That night, as we fell asleep on a villager's veranda, our legs ached and our shoulders felt utterly wrecked. Still, we slept very well. We set out early the next morning. The monsoon had just ended. In some places there were quagmires. In others the ground was slippery underfoot. Exhausted, we sat down to rest in a villager's house. I noticed the newly decorated mud walls where the housewife had drawn designs. The peacock is very well done, and the colors are lovely too, I told her. Encouraged by the praise, she replied shyly, "Please look in here too. There are some more drawings here." Later, Mr. Pandey told me she was delighted by your praise. Her voice was choked with excitement as she told her friend, "Those people liked my drawings very much." We reached Bijauda in the evening. Bargi colony is on the other bank. A huge dam across the Narmada was under construction there. The only way to reach Bijauda was by descending into the foundations of the dam. We found a one-roomed school building to sleep in. There was no door in the doorframe. I spread my bedding there. "When a tiger comes along, you will be its first prey," Mr. Pandey remarked. "I am very skinny. You can count the bones in my body. The poor creature will start with a frugal breakfast, but when it gets to you, it will have a lavish lunch," I replied. In the morning, the orange glow of the sun rose. It grew out of the ground like a plant. The freshly emerged sun looked as soft and tender as a newborn baby. We got ready and went on our way like nomads. On the way, we saw a hermit's hut. I asked the hermit what sort of people do the pilgrimage around the Narmada, and he replied, "Most people set out only to beg. That way they get their bellies filled and their feet worshipped as well." We fell in with a barber on the way. He was garrulous. When we asked him where we should stay, he advised us to go to the next village. The ceremony of the 13th day after the death of a prosperous landlord's brother is being held there today. Lots of people have gathered. You can come along too. You will get food as well as a place to stay. "We don't eat funeral meals," I rebuked him. We didn't stop at that village. Beyond it, several fields had been plowed. We struggled along, sometimes through mud, sometimes on field ridges, to Hignadren. There was not much in it, and our feet sank in the mercy land. Yadavendra's walking stick came in very handy in extricating us. Crossing this muddy ditch gave us our first taste of the tough walk ahead. A thick teak forest began further on, and steep hills beyond that. The climb left us breathless, but we enjoyed it thoroughly. Beyond the hills, we came to an entirely new region of beauty. Lush green greeted the eyes in every direction. The tender green of the fields gradually gave way to the deeper green of woods and dense forests. There was not a single human being around other than us. It felt as though we had stumbled into a magnificent virgin land. Every step served to delight our weary minds and bodies. Scrambling up hills, dipping into hollows, tangling through thickets, following rivulets downstream, the footpath eventually led us to a scene that was pure joy. There in front of us was the tiniest of streams with a series of miniature waterfalls. We stared at it, spellbound by its loveliness, till the voice of reason broke in, saying, "Hey, look over there. The sun is sinking, evening is approaching. Who knows how far away Badahayakhera is? Get up, get moving. We rose reluctantly and crossed the stream but could not find the path on the other side. It seemed to have vanished into the stream. We found a broken trail with great difficulty and hastened on. It was nightfall by the time we reached the headman's house. He was away, but the people in the house graciously invited us into their home. Exhausted from the day's exertions, we cooked our dinner, ate it, and fell into a deep slumber. There was thick fog outside when we woke up. We went to the banks of the Narmada. In the dense fog, the sky and the earth had become one. Hours later, the fog dispersed, but even so, the river was not clearly visible because the rising steam still veiled her. The Narmada was like a stage on which the play of mist had ended, but the curtain of steam had yet to be lifted. I noticed that the steam was not rising straight up. It was spiraling. I watched, fascinated, thinking. Vapor could just as easily go straight up. Why is it rising in a circular fashion? And it is not just the steam. I have not seen the Narmada flowing straight anywhere else. Her beauty lies in the curves that characterize her course. Human beings too have an affinity with curved forms. This tendency is expressed in the meter of poetry, in the patterns of art, and in the rhythms of music. The drama of mist and fog had been extraordinary. We would watch it again tomorrow. Today we would go no further. We were taking our afternoon rest when the sound of a crash came from outside. One of the women of this house was bringing a bundle of firewood home from the forest when the bundle collided with a post and slipped from her head. The woman lost her balance, fell down and lost consciousness. She was picked up and carried into the house where a woman began to fan her. Now and then she shook the limp woman roughly and called to her with loud shouts, but she did not regain consciousness. On our way out, we gave the attendant a pill, saying, "Give her this when she comes round. It will relieve the pain in her body." Upon our return in the evening, I saw a woman winnowing grain. I asked her, "How is the woman who fainted earlier?" The woman only blushed and smiled. I didn't understand why. Another woman laughingly explained, "She is the one who fell." I was astonished. This woman, who a few hours before lay unconscious, was back at work. The people of the house treated us like members of the family. We gave the woman some flour and they made chapatis for us. As I went to sleep that night, I thought, when morning comes, I will be able to watch the magic of mist and steam once more. I woke up at 4 in the morning. The women had already begun their day's work by the flickering light of a kerosene lamp. One woman was pounding paddy in a mortar. Then another came and both of them took turns with the pestle. As I watched their rhythmic movements, a woman started grinding flour on the hand mill. They sang while going about their morning tasks. It was a very pleasant sight to wake up to. I hurried off to the banks of the Narmada at first light. However, I had overlooked one fact. Our heart's desires elude us more often than not. Today, there was no mist at all. Yesterday, river, sky, mountain, forest all had emerged, layer by layer, from the swirling mist that covered them. I had wanted to watch this very magic of mist today, but sadly, the stage was bare. The play was not being performed. We worked for long hours every morning and afternoon. Our next destination was Chhebaliya. The sight of yellow mustard fields brought the Basohali style of painting to mind. I would keep looking back at this patch of glorious yellow and get left behind in the process. The Kotwar of Chhebaliya was delighted to invite us to stay at his home. He told us, "You are most welcome. It is Sharad Purnima tonight. We will all gather at the Hanuman shrine on the river bank to sing kirtans. There will be singing all night. I hope you will join us." That night, Yadavendra cooked kheer to celebrate Sharad Purnima. We fell asleep after our meal. I woke up around 11. Yadavendra too sat up. We both hurried off to the Hanuman shrine in the light of the full moon. I had seen moonlight often enough before, but tonight, for the first time, it felt as if my whole being was immersed in moonlight. It seemed to have entered my soul. If it shone like this all night, we would find a mantle of moonlight spread on the ground in the morning. The kirtan had begun meanwhile. They were singing with great enthusiasm. Someone was playing a mridanga, another cymbals, another a pakhawaj. Everyone was singing. Nobody was merely listening. Their enthusiasm was infectious, my hand moving in rhythm and harmony with them. I began to sketch the singers in front of me. The moonlight was so brilliant that every stroke could easily be seen. I returned to our rooms at 1 that night. Going to the banks of the Narmada the next morning, I saw that the moon had not yet set. I noticed the blemishes on it and began to observe them attentively. They gave the impression of a picture that had been drawn on the moon's canvas. If the moon were plain, it would not appear so alluring. No, those marks were not blemishes, they were her beauty spots. I sat by the river bank, sketching. A few moments later, an emaciated woman came to bathe. After bathing, she picked up a sari to put on. She surveyed it twice, from one end to the other. But the sari had become so tattered that she could not work out which way to wear it. Somehow she managed to cover herself and went away. This was the blemish, I thought, bowing my head in shame. I could not sketch any more.